I'm going to do a quick overview on how to prepare Project 1. Of course, we have 3 levels. Now, I only listed a few categories. I need you to go at least 10 categories. As you can see, there's financing, location, materials to build the ship, and then labor, and finally the construction of the ship. These are the 5 categories we have. The project calls for 10, so again, I listed several more in the bulletin. So please use those as it if you wish, or create other ones as you see fit. It's entirely up to you, but please try to get at least 10 work breakdown structures. So the first one we have is financing. Now there's level 2. You're going to need to get either bank loans and/or investors. Level 3, you fill out applications, create pro forma financials, and call investors. The risk level of this is high. If we do not get financing, the project does not happen. You might want to be a bit more, I would encourage you to be a bit more elaborate than this. I'm just trying to give you an overview to get you started on the project. But that's how I would measure financing as high, because the risk of something happening is so great and the impact on the project is so severe. So again, the possibility of something happening is very high, and the impact on the project is going to be quite severe if we can't get financing. Location is the second one. We can either get a waterfront property or inland property. If we get waterfront property, we're going to need dry dockage, a place to build it. And then once it's built, we put it in the water or put it on a ship to send it out to where we're going to drill. Or we get railroad access, where we build it inland and we put it piece by piece on a railroad and have it shipped to a harbor. Assessing this is a low risk, and the reason why is we're flexible with the location, and there's plenty of land. We will find something that works for us. Now we're going on to materials. There's going to be local suppliers and distant suppliers. We're going to need to get set up with lines of credit for the local suppliers, and credit terms and so forth. Make sure we find all the suppliers that we're going to be needing to use over the next 10 months. And the distant suppliers will have to place orders, because it's going to take some time for them to ship the product to us. The risk here is going to be medium, and the reason why is because there will always be issues such as late deliveries, wrong parts, etc. So we want to assess that risk level as medium. Now we find labor. We're going to need local workers and out-of-state workers, because we need certain skill sets. That's why we're going to need people draw from all types of labor pools. We're going to begin hiring local workers, and the out-of-state workers, we're going to need to find housing for them, either construct temporary housing barracks, work out deals with hotels, things like that. This risk level is low. I mean, the weak economy, plenty of people looking for work. Construction. We're going to follow the engineering design, and then also we're going to work with quality control, make sure everything's being done right. We're going to break each section down to separate units under the engineering design, and then we're going to assign a quality control to work with engineers for inspection at predetermined intervals. It's a high risk level. Each step of the way needs to be precise. There is no room for error. The reason why you have risk levels is that way when you're going through the project, in the back of your mind, or actually in the front of your mind, you know what's going on. Like, hey, I'm working, this step right here is a high risk step. We need to be extra careful. Of course, you're not going to be lackadaisical when it comes to the labor, but you know that if you need a certain welder or something, for example, and you're trying to find one, you will ultimately find one, hopefully with relative ease, as opposed to building a part that's not going to work right on the rig itself. That's a high risk. So that's how to assess. That's the purpose of assessing the risk for each step of the way. Now we get to the network diagram, and what I'm asking you to do is watch this 3 videos, and hopefully in some PowerPoints as well. And I'm asking you to watch those very carefully and even take notes. And the box key right here, this is early start. This is the day you start. This is the duration of the work breakdown structure, the work package. And this is early finish, meaning it finishes on time. This is the task name. And this is late start, meaning if you start it late. This is the slack time that's going to be involved in each project, which each work breakdown package which you need to determine. You need to determine the slack time because you need to figure out what happens if we have an overrun. You know, will it impact the time? Will it cause a delay? If we have a problem with location, for example, if we can't find a location in 20 days, is there any slack time involved where it's not going to impact the overall deadline of the project? Remember, you're on a deadline, a 10-month duration. So of course, late finish. So that's the box key. So we start financing, day 1. We figure 60 days to line up the bank loans and investors and be done by day 61. Late start, meaning stuff isn't printed on time, you're still, trying to figure out strategies. Day 5, you don't know what kind of slack time you're going to have as far as flexibility. And it finishes on day 66. That's late finish. Then you move over to location. Now you start hunting down a location, remember, either inland or onshore, or waterfront. Day 62, as you see, it finishes day 61. Day 62 goes for 20 days to day 82. Day 67, it starts right after this. Figure out the slack time, and day 87. So what you're seeing here is you need the location. Once the financing is in place, then you start with the location. So location needs to be done by 87. As it's done by day 87, as you can see, while you're still finalizing the location of where you're going, you need to start sourcing out material suppliers and start finding local laborers and out-of-state laborers. So you can start doing that while you're wrapping up the location of where you're going to be. Once the material's done, and as you can see, there's different time frames here. This is a 10-day process. That's a 7-day process. So you have materials you're sourcing, 10 days, 7 days for labor, and then once that is done, you can then get a jump on the construction. The construction of the rig is going to take 200 days. You start on day 91, early start, going from 90 to 91, 200 days, 291 days, you're done. Day 96, late start, late finish. Day 96, but you'll finish by day 296, giving you a 4 days of slack time just in case you're running late. So that is a quick overview as far as how to put this project together. I encourage you to get going on this. Send me a rough draft if you can of everything and before Sunday night, and that way I can get you some feedback and hopefully you can get this done and get a wonderful grade on it. Thank you, and I hope you're enjoying this project.